So I'm just about to finish part 1 of Casey Neistat's filmmaking course. I want to talk to you a little bit about what it's like, how it's structured, and share my thoughts and opinions on it so far, just in case you're thinking about enrolling yourself and you want to know whether or not it's worth it. And spoiler alert, it is completely worth it, in my opinion. But it might not be for everybody, so stick around to find out whether or not it's worth it for you. Now, there's one thing in particular, one little nugget that I found particularly helpful, and it blew my mind, and it's kind of what I came here for, to be honest. And I'm going to share that within this video, so don't miss it. Now, just to make you aware, and as I mentioned earlier, I've not finished the whole course yet because I've been crazy busy doing some other bits and bobs. So this is part 1. I'm going to release part 2 later on once I've finished the whole course. But this video in particular is going to be a review of the section 1 of the course, and then part 2 will be obviously the section 2 of the course. So it's definitely worth subscribing to make sure you see both parts of this video. So the aims and outcomes of this whole course was to develop 2 films. One spontaneous film that you start from scratch and you have no idea what it's going to be about until you start filming. And then the second one is like a pre-planned film. So it's going to take you from idea through to execution, planning all the shots, and then editing it as well. Whereas the first one is obviously more spontaneous. Now this is exciting to me because I feel like I'm quite good at planning a video from start to finish and executing it. I like doing that because I like to have control over what's happening and the outcome of the video. And then if things change along the way, that's fine as well, but at least I've got the main plan in place. What I'm not very good at, and what I wanted to learn from this course, is how to just go out and start filming a type of vlog and developing a story as you go along. I don't like that because sometimes you get home and you end up with nothing. You've got nothing. So this is the main reason why I started this course in the first place, and I thought he would have some sort of structure to how he does that, and I'm going to come on to that later on. So the course focuses on finding ideas and stories, visual storytelling, editing and pacing, adding structure to your videos, the use of music, keeping your audience engaged, creative problem solving, and loads more. Now that creative problem solving is ongoing. You kind of have to apply that to every single step of the phase. So you could have creative problem solving whilst you're finding ideas and stories. You can have creative problem solving whilst you're doing the visual storytelling, whilst you're editing, whilst you're finding the music. That's kind of a running theme through everything. So I feel like the creative problem solving is the most important step in this whole thing, and finding out and getting and seeing a behind the scenes of how one of the best people do it in the business is really valuable. And again, I'm going to explain his problem solving methods in this video. So the first project, he encourages you to use your phone so that you're not overthinking the hardware and that you are focusing on the shot selection and the storytelling and why you're choosing those shots over the equipment that you've got. Because sometimes you can become complacent with the gear you have and you rely on that camera or whatever it is making it look good. But whereas when you've got your phone, you have to work a little bit harder to find the right angle, the right shots, and it just forces you to focus on the reasons why you're choosing those angles and those particular subjects in the first place. So that's what I found really helpful, and it did make me realise, and this is all cinematography stuff, how beneficial angles are and framing and composition. And if you've got that right, then it makes the editing process so much easier, and it also helps the viewer figure out what's going on within your videos. So day 1, he starts off talking about the ideas and the inspiration, and he explains that you don't have to have an amazing idea to have a good video. And the example he gives is one of his top performing videos, which is about an expensive aeroplane ticket or aeroplane seat. And that's a naff idea, but it's all in the execution and how he told that story. And he explains that it was his enthusiasm and his wonder about this new experience that he was having, that is what hooked people in. It's about how the idea is communicated. So what he does is he takes you along with him and walks around the streets looking for inspiration and ideas, and he's explaining everything as he goes along, and that's really beneficial because it's like you're in his mind and you're hearing his thoughts and what he's thinking about. So I found that really, really helpful. It's one of the best things about this course. He's very good at explaining every little detail, exactly why he's choosing the ideas that he's choosing and what he's seeing and how he looks around, so it's really good. And then once he's chosen his ideas, he comes up with about 4 or 5 ideas, and then he picks one that he's most passionate about. And that's also what he explains. He says, once you've found an idea, you need to find an angle. And then he goes on to say, what's most interesting to me, not the audience, but me. Because if I find it interesting, other people are going to find it interesting because he's got that passion in it. And then obviously he splits his stories up into 3 acts, beginning, middle and end. But he also explains not to focus on the whole thing in one go because that's too overwhelming. Just focus on one bit at a time, or just the bit that you're focusing on. And that's when you can get stuck. You can think, I can't see an end point to this video. I can't visualize what it's going to be like. But you just got to trust the process and know that it's going to come together if you work on the bit that you're working on at the moment in time and not think too far ahead. Because ideas will come, you've just got to trust it, stay focused on what you're doing, and it will take shape eventually. So this is the bit that I found the most value in. Obviously he did vlogs every day for however many years, and I thought he must have a process where he can, like some sort of structure where he can just go, right, I've got this idea today, I'm going to go out and film and this is what it's going to be like. And if I hit any stumbling blocks or if I get stuck, this is what I put in place to overcome those barriers. And I thought he's going to have a system for this, and I want to know what it is. I want to know what the secret is, because I come across these barriers all the time. But what I found most interesting was he came across the exact same barriers as we all do. The only way he got over it was to keep pushing through. That is it. That is the secret sauce. Because I thought I was hitting these barriers because I was doing something wrong and I needed to think in a different way. But really, he says himself, the hardest part with this spontaneous filmmaking is when it doesn't turn out like you would expected. And he was saying that every single day when he was doing these daily vlogs, he hit that point where he thought, this video's nothing, I can't even carry on, what's it gonna be about? But instead of giving up, he just carried on. He took some time to think about different angles, different perspectives that he could use to tell the rest of the story. And he just kept on filming, found parts and found different ways that he could pull out stories from what he already had. And he says, what separates those who do from those who don't is the willingness to overcome this part. And you can see how frustrated he gets within the video. It shows you he's sat there on a step, feeling sorry for himself, and he says, I'm not gonna, all of me right now wants to go on my skateboard and just forget about the whole thing and just do something fun or get a coffee, but instead I'm gonna go to the office and think and keep filming and see what happens. And that is it, that is the process. And for me, that was the biggest takeaway, because it's easy to give up, but you've started, you've come this far, you may as well see it through. And what better way of seeing it through than just keep working at it, keep working hard. Even if it takes you an extra day, at least you've not given up. So the knowledge that it's not some sort of secret sauce or structure, it's just within you and you've just got to keep going, that is very valuable. Just that alone made it worth it for me. And again, this is another quote from him. The process is having confidence that in spontaneously capturing something that is real, the ending will present itself. I love it. Just keep filming, keep going, don't get disheartened, and it'll work out. And you know, not every video is going to be a blockbuster hit, is it? But at least it's something. We can sometimes get in our own way before we even start and think, oh, it's not a very good idea, so I'm not going to go and film it. Just start. He explains it by just jumping off a cliff. I mean, not to your death, but just go. You know what? I don't think I've thought that analogy through, but that's what he said. You know what I mean? Like a bungee jump. You just got to go. Like, just jump off the ledge and just do it. Don't sit there thinking about it. Don't put it off. Just go for it. So the last few things that I want to talk about is the format of the course itself. I was expecting something slightly different, to be honest. And I was expecting more, because it's a 30-day class. and I was thinking there was going to be like lessons or videos every single day or every other day, but actually it's 1 or 2 short lessons in video form, and then you have a couple of days or 3 or 4 days to go out and film stuff and edit stuff, and then you submit it. So I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't more learning videos. I wanted to hear more from him each day. But as I said, if you go back through and watch the videos thoroughly and really listen to what he's saying and take and absorb all that, the information is there. Because really, there's not much to say. Like I say, that thing that I've focused on, it's the mindset rather than tools and techniques. It's the mindset. Just go and do it, and you'll improve the more you think about stuff. So it is valuable. There doesn't have to be a video every day to be valuable. You can find so much value in just one video, for example. So just bear that in mind. But I still like the structure of it. If I had more time, I would have completed it by now, but I've just been so busy. But as well, you can go at your own pace, and that takes me on to my next point, which is the community. So you get put into different groups. I think there's about 20 in each class. And what happens is you submit something and your class will give you feedback on it, and you get assigned certain people to give feedback on their work. So there are deadlines, and the reason why there's deadlines is because people have to give feedback on your work to progress to the next stage, if that makes sense. So I like it, I like how it's done, but if you haven't got the time, then you're gonna get behind. But I presume that I think you can still access the full course and all the lessons, but it's just that, you're all learning from each other in this community tab. So if you don't submit something, those people might not be able to learn from what you've done. So it's important to make sure you've got the time to dedicate to it if you're going to enroll on the course. And I will say this about the community as well. Everybody was so friendly, so supportive, really encouraging. So if you want that network of like-minded filmmaking people, then definitely enroll on something like this, because you're going to just make so many new friends. Unfortunately, I've not had time to do any of that properly, but when I was at the beginning of the course, it was just a great place to be. So I'm looking forward to carrying on with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for part 2 of the review, and I will see you in the next one.